Hey guys, welcome back to our continuing coverage of Computex 2014 here in Taipei, Taiwan. We're over at the MSI booth and we're going to be covering 4 different categories in this video, so feel free to jump ahead if you're interested in one other than this one. We're going to start off with some notebooks, also got some all-in-ones, motherboards, and GPUs as well. So the notebook we want to talk about is this one right here. This is the GT72 Dominator Pro. Now this is the successor to the GT70 and they've done quite a few updates. First off, it's a little bit thinner than its predecessor, so they've managed to slim it down a little bit. This is more in the desktop replacement category as notebooks go, but you still have all of the features such as the Dynaudio audio. You have the Steel Series keyboard with multiple lighting options. You've got some cool features like you can actually bypass the NVIDIA function for the GPU, so they got a physical switch on the keyboard right there. A fully integrated Steel Series touchpad here as well. Now this is actually sort of a glass-like effect so that it integrates it. You got physical buttons as well, which is often a request when it comes to notebooks. This is a 17.3-inch Full HD 1080 display, and it also is using the latest 4th generation core processor from Intel. That's an i7. There's different variations available, but the GPU in here at launch is going to be the GTX 880M, and there might be additional versions in the future that might have, let's say, more advanced GPUs, but we can't tell you exactly what that's all about yet. But what I wanted to show you is a little bit of the aesthetic outside features, of course, for sticking with the all brushed aluminum finish, nice and black. You got the MSI Gaming G Series right there, logo, and let me just flip this over for a moment to show you the bottom. Now I know you DIY enthusiasts are going to be excited about this. Not only have they called out the subwoofer there in the bottom right, but look at this bottom panel. They've created a huge amount of air intake to keep all the interior components cool. They're also actually encouraging customization by making this easily removable with simply 4 screws on the side, and you can just pop off this entire panel, revealing the inside. Inside you have 4 DIMM slots, so you can expand your memory capabilities. You have 4 M.2 slots, so you can get SSD RAID configurations going like out the wazoo. And then you also have, of course, the ability to access everything else inside, so you have a 2.5-inch slot in there as well if you want to add some additional storage. The other thing I really like about this is that they've included dual fans with dual exhaust on the back. Now, if you use a laptop very often, especially a gaming laptop, you know that they get very hot. Pushing the air out the back, I find, is the best solution because it doesn't get your hands all hot. 2 more final things about that GT72 is that it's going to come out in the second half of this year, and also it's got video outs on the outside, so you can actually set up 2 more monitors, first triple monitor surround gaming. But we've moved over here to the all-in-one area. MSI has been working on their all-in-ones for quite some time. This is the next generation that we're going to be taking a look at here. These are available in 22 to 27-inch sizes, and MSI is known when it comes to all-in-ones for actually integrating really high-end gaming parts in that, and that's something you really don't see elsewhere in the market. The one we're looking at right here is the AG270 2PE, and this is a 27-inch model. Now there's a ton of stuff to talk about with this particular one. This one should be available this month, later at, should be available at Newegg.com actually. It's got an Intel 4860HQ quad-core CPU. It's also going to feature either a GTX 880M with 8 gigs of VRAM or an 871 one is also available. This one also features a touchscreen, the one we're looking at right here. It's also available in a non-touchscreen version. They've done certain things like improving the keyboard and mouse that ship with this, so they're going with a wired version now instead of the wireless version. Wired mice and keyboards being much more popular with gamers. Also, the screen itself features anti-glare and anti-flicker technology, as well as 70% blue light reduction, which can help reduce eye strain and fatigue over time. This one also has triple monitor support, just like the GT72, and again, as I didn't already mention, it's available later this month. Another thing that I didn't mention about the GT72 that this one also features is a killer double shot NIC. That means it's from Killer. You got both the integrated NIC for a physical connection to your Ethernet, or it's got 802.11 AC wireless connectivity, and that's, again, on this as well as the laptop that we already talked about. Now, apart from being available later this month, the final thing I want to talk about is the speakers. We got Yamaha speakers integrated, which have a wider dynamic range, which means they're going to be able to hear many more of the sounds at the high end and the low end than you would with the previous versions. And although you probably can't hear right now, I can. And I can tell, ooh, it's very crisp. It's very crisp and very nice. And moving over here to video cards, we have the latest, brand new, never before seen next generation GPUs from, actually I'm just kidding. Unfortunately, there's no new GPUs to speak of MSI is kind of at the mercy of their partners AMD and NVIDIA for that sort of thing, but MSI does make a huge variety of video cards, whether you want an NVIDIA or an AMD base card. You can see many of them arrayed here behind me. This is their gaming series, so they have a really nice cooler design. And down here, MSI also has the N760, which is a mini ITX extremely short version. So if you're looking for a mini ITX system and you want to save some space, definitely go for something like that. However, if we move right over here, we do have a new product, fortunately enough. That's these graphics cards that they're running. These are GTX 780s with not 3, but 6 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory. Why would you need 6 gigabytes, you ask? Well, if you're doing high resolution gaming, if you're doing triple monitor gaming or something like that, well then you probably need more VRAM. Typically 4K gaming will often go over the 3 gigabyte limit, which means your frame rates are going to drop precipitously. So with the 6 gig setup, particularly if you're going for 4K, we recommend probably 2 of those is going to be your best bet if you want to run some reasonably high graphics settings. Then MSI has you all set with their new GTX 780 6 gig. But that's not all, folks. No. MSI has one more trick up their sleeve when it comes to GPUs, and that is a new version of their MSI Afterburner GPU overclocking software. Version 3.0 is out or will be out very, very soon. 64-bit support, which means when you're playing a game like Battlefield 4, you can still do the on-screen display functionality. And if you guys have ever used MSI's Afterburner, then you know it is one of the best GPU overclocking and monitoring softwares that is available. So really looking forward to version 3.0. And finally, some new technology to share with you guys in the motherboard category. This is going to be the world's first USB 3.1 motherboard. Now, it doesn't have USB 3.1 right now because those chips aren't currently available. What they're looking for is an ASMedia ASM 1142 controller, which is going to be available later this year. We're looking at Q4, possibly even Q1 2015. However, that will double the current USB 3.0 transfer speeds to 10 gigabits per second from the current 5 gigabits per second. The key point here is that the chip that's currently on the motherboard is pin-to-pin the exact same as the ASM 1142 mount, which means that once that's available, they can drop it right on there, do a newer version of this motherboard, and you can have access to USB 3.1. Finally, we've saved maybe the best for last. Depends who you are, depends what type of computing you happen to do. But this right here is one of the world's first DDR4 X99 chipset motherboards. So this is the new socket from Intel. Now we can't tell you too many details about this because it's not currently released and a lot of the still up in the air. But what we're looking at here is the next generation enthusiast platform, high-end, whether you're looking at gaming, whether you're looking at content production, you're going to have the newest chips from Intel, aka Haswell E. You're going to have DDR4 compatibility, quad channel setup as well as all of the types of high-end features you would expect from Intel's latest enthusiast platforms, such as a ton of PCI Express lanes for 3 or 4 four-way graphics card setups, a ton of bandwidth, as well as extra features that I'm sure are absolutely wonderful, but we can't tell you about yet because we don't absolutely know for sure. But that's all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more coverage from Computex 2014. We'll see you all very soon.